As it was the first commencement there, and I'm sure it won't be the last. The hall was beautiful. The front of the stage was just tons and tons of hydrangeas. It was gorgeous. The venue itself was spectacular. Much better green rooms and dressing rooms and all that thing. The only thing that I kind of wondered a little bit was the line was really long of people coming in, because they all had to be searched. They all had plastic had to put their things in plastic bags, and wow. The line was blocks and blocks long. So I'm not so sure what we're going to hear about that. For those of us who have to do that, it was pretty heavenly, but maybe a little less heavenly if you had to stand in the lines. Anyway, it was a great experience, and I can't imagine they won't use the venue again. It's within walking distance of Simmons, which is, I parked at the school and walked over. There's tons of advantages.
Hey, Karen. Bobby. Is my background normal now?
It is.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
I just was thinking of other things.
Welcome everyone that is coming in.
We forgot Claire's swimsuit, so we're seeing if they have any issues.
Oh, well, okay.
Mute themselves.
I know, if they don't, we're not. Yeah.
The other fun thing about commencement, if anyone wants.
They find you one? Oh, I'll be right back. 1 second.
Would you like me to share any more about commencement, Karen? Because the Alumni Association role is kind of fun. We actually exchange the class flag with the Alumni Association flag as part of the ceremony. And that's always, it's sort of the wrap up. And it's, I think, pretty impressive. And it's a treat to get to do that. I was thinking about it, and I've done it 8 times.
Oh, wow.
That's twice online, but I did it as the VP. And then, no, I guess it's the 7th time. 3 times as the VP, 3 times as the co-president, including 2 of them online, which was really fun doing the filming. And then this year I did it for Karen and Bobby because Teresa and I live close by, and they didn't. So it's a great experience.
That must be a record. You said you did it 8 times?
I misspoke. I decided it's 7. I did it 3 times as VP because the VP and the president always did it. And then Teresa and I did it together 3 times, so there's 6. And then this time I did it, Teresa and I did it for you and Bobby, so it makes 7. 2 of those times were during COVID, wasn't when they didn't have live commencements, and so the filming was quite an adventure during those. And I did them myself those years because we didn't try to get both of us involved. So I have the advantage of owning regalia, so it makes life a whole lot easier than because the school provides the regalia if you don't already own your own.
Barbara, we can hold off on the report in the chat because I think everyone else can see it.
Welcome everyone who is coming in. We will be getting started momentarily. Thank you for joining us. And if you don't mind muting yourselves, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Priya, we're at 9 a.m. on the dot, and why don't we give it another minute or two as people are coming in?
Yep. Okay, wonderful. Welcome, everyone. We'll start shortly. Just gathering. Bobby.
I think we are still accumulating people, but I think we're ready to go. Now Chrissy's here, so that is great.
Bobby, Leslie Dykeman said she was waiting to get in.
I saw that.
Rio, Jody Drexler said that she's class of 88, not 81.
Okay. All right. How about we get started, Bobby?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the 2023 Simmons Alumni Association annual meeting, where we're going to kick it off with a video that we have prepared for all of you.
What do we do at the Alumni Association Executive Board? We connect and foster connections with alums, with students, and students. So they see us today. See you ladies next month. Have a great day.
What does the student experience look like, and how do we ensure that students have everything they need to thrive inside and outside the classroom? One of the students is that you can't get involved on campus and get what you see. And students be free to be friendly.
Okay. You know, I don't know whether all of you were able to hear the soundtrack very well, but this is this is our welcome to you. And I'm Bobby Thompson, and I'm co-president of the Simmons AAEB. And in calling our annual meeting to order, I would like to introduce for a word of welcome to you, two powerhouses of our Simmons leadership, many of whom are present here today with you alum. And they are the two with whom my co-president Karen Young-Thomas and I work most closely, and that is Chrissy Raposa, Director of Alumni and Volunteer Engagement in the Office of Advancement, and Beth Kramer, Vice President of Advancement and Development. And Beth is going to greet you now and kick us off with welcome.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's so nice to be with you. We're coming off of that historic week in higher education of, the 118th commencement of Simmons University yesterday, where we celebrated our amazing Simmons women and our graduates, and it was just awe-inspiring, a new tradition of having an MGM in the Fenway. So just feeling such high of the week and knowing that the importance of building this lifelong community of amazing alums who do want to go out and change the world is the work of the AAEB in partnership with the Office of Advancement. And I just want to share just special words of gratitude to the AAEB Executive Committee and to Bobby and Karen and their co-presidency and their exquisite, creative, energetic leadership that has brought us really an incredible year of bringing community together in old ways and new ways, and just wanting to express gratitude. And we value who you are, and the Simmons community is powerful, and we know we want to invite this whole re-engagement of getting people to be back in this incredible community as one of our day-to-day areas of energy. So grateful to be here today and look forward to the conversation.
Thank you so much, Beth. We open our board meeting with a roll call. And Priel, our Director of Operations, will begin that.
Thank you, Bobby. Okay, starting with the roll call, Barbara. You can feel free to unmute yourself and say present.
Present.
Jasmine. Lane.
Present.
Kelly. Claire.
Present.
Gina.
Present.
Bobby.
Present.
Karen.
Present.
Maddie.
Present.
Teresa.
Present.
Lynn.
Present.
And I think that we're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you're here for the first time at an Alumni Association annual meeting, or if you're here after a very long time, you may well ask, what is the Executive Board? And I will tell you that we are volunteers who want to give back our time and our talent to our alma mater so that Simmons University can unleash upon the planet more and more of what President Wooten describes as everyday leaders, everyday global leaders. Our board activities are centered on cultivating connections between the Alumni Association and the university, and also between the alums and students. And we're about celebrating alumni successes. Under the leadership of our immediate past presidents, Teresa Brewer and Lynn Devnew, in 2021 and 2, the board engaged an outside consultant to facilitate a strategic retreat in order to create goals that would support and align with the goals of our new university president, Dr. Lynn Perry Wooten, and to create continuity for the AAEB. When Karen Young-Thomas and I began our term as co-presidents, we strived to align all activities of the board with at least one of these goals. So here's how it went. This is our year in review as it aligned with our goals. Goal 1, creating and implementing communications strategy that was clear and consistent. So at the last AAEB year-end meeting, launched the homepage of our website, and now the website is fully launched and fully interactive. We organized our first hybrid meeting for alum, which took place in October at the University Homecoming. We issued proclamations to communicate our gratitude to clubs and classes with whom we also communicated on social media. Personally, with individual alums, we now have social media presence on LinkedIn, Instagram. I don't think we're on TikTok, Twitter, but we are on TikTok and also on Facebook. Goal 2 was to build and define our relationships with internal and external collaborators within Simmons. And just looking at my note here, excuse me. So Karen and I attended on your behalf the Board of Trustee meetings and plenary sessions. We did something which I think was of the best benefit, which was to launch a paid and course-credited internship through the Eiffel College. And it was our intern who compiled that video of our activities that we opened the meeting with. We initiated and then we convened a meeting to represent your input and interests, our alum input and interests with advancement, the Office of Student Affairs, and University Strategic Planning. We worked with the Simmons Leadership Institute to develop co-leadership models and best practices for our leaders. And then we decided to create and will bestow in this meeting our first corporate support award. And that will be given to Dawn Boner of Liberty Mutual, which we will see a little later in the meeting. And we began planning for our 125th anniversary of Simmons University. Goal 3 was to become accountable in the Alumni Association's internal structure and our processes. So we are changing a little bit of the structure of the board from what it has been in the last couple of years. We are changing from the co-president model to president and VP, and that is for the purposes of continuity and succession. We took our communications director position and turned it into 2 positions, one with a emphasis on marketing and the other an emphasis on social media. We have a new position called alumni historian, and that's entirely thanks to the suggestion from one of the alums. We created an assistant treasury position, and we also activated the Treasury's Finance Committee. In total, we activated 6 new and open board positions, and we held monthly board meetings. We did 9 of them, and 10 is a quorum for us. We had a terrific holiday gathering in December. We issued a playlist of the AAEB favorites, which you can find on our social media channels, and if you're in the mood for more holiday music. And we have this annual meeting, which is a virtual one, in which we received 120 RSVPs. So that is pretty great. Goal 4 was to continue to develop programs that would engage and re-engage our alumni body. And so we did support the Simmons Leadership Conference as an ambassador financially, but we also raffled off and gave away 5 free tickets to alum who signed up and attended, and were thrilled because they had always wanted to go and it was all their first time. We had 2 important collaborations with the African American Alumni Association, President Wooten's Arrive and Thrive tour, both in Martha's Vineyard and here in Los Angeles where I am, and also sponsoring the Gospel Brunch at the newly renamed Betty Rollins Black Symposium. And that was held right here on campus. We did a collaboration with Simmons Hillel. We had a virtual evening of theater, which was live streamed from the Jewish Museum in New York City. It featured the writing of an alum, Olivia Cohn Cutler, 75, HDOO. We tried to revamp the thing that so many of us loved, which was Simmons Tea, and we brought it back as a podcast designed to elevate and illuminate alum on what's going on with our students, our professors, and our alumni. We've had 2 of them. The next one will be coming up in June. We, on your behalf, gave wonderful Simmons swag gifts to incoming freshmen with notes of welcome. And we also, as a group, wrote personal notes to prospective freshmen. And we participated successfully in a wonderful advancement and a student government and senior class event called 50 Days Till Graduation. And hopefully we made a great impression on the class of 23 so that they will become active alumni as well. And in a burst of great energy, we organized a recipient for the Much anticipated Priscilla McKee Award. Jason Woods, our archivist and historian, was the recipient, and you'll see more about that later. And that was how it worked with our strategic goals and our activities. And now it is my honor to introduce Regina Pisa, Chair of the Simmons University Board of Trustees. I didn't see Regina come in, but I just want to make sure she's here.
I don't see Regina.
She's there.
She's here. She is there.
I'm here. Unfortunately, my screen says you rather than my name.
Oh, she's Queen Bee. Love it.
That's good.
Okay, you're Queen Bee. Okay, indeed. It is my honor to introduce our Queen Bee, Regina Pisa, Chair of the Simmons University Board of Trustees, who will speak to us about Simmons leadership and the strides we're making in academic innovation. A little bit of Regina's bio, which was too long to read the whole thing, so please forgive me for leaving out accidentally anything that may have been more important than what I'm about to say. Regina is the Chairman Emeritus of Goodwin Procter LLP, a leading Global 50 law firm with more than 1,900 attorneys serving clients from 16 locations in the United States, Europe, and Asia. She led the firm as chairman, before that, managing partner. For more than 16 years, Regina has served as a member of the Supreme Judicial Court Nominating Committee to select justices to sit on the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. She currently serves as co-chair of the law firm Pro Bono Project Advisory Committee of the Pro Bono Institute based in Washington, D.C. She is a champion of justice and has been honored for her pro bono legal leadership as a champion of the arts. And she was inducted into the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce's Academy of Distinguished Bostonians for her extraordinary personal and professional contributions to the Greater Boston community. Regina, thank you for being with us.
Thanks so much, Bobby. That was a kind introduction. So good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. It's really an honor to join you for the 2023 Alumni Association annual meeting. Like you all, I have a strong connection to Simmons, although my personal story is a bit different. Back in 1984, as a young lawyer at Goodwin Procter, I was given an assignment to work on a Simmons legal matter. And years later was asked to join the Board of Trustees. It's been a tremendous honor to serve as chair of the board for the past 8 years, 3 of which have been with President Wooten at the helm, and to experience the Simmons evolution firsthand. The ability to adapt and pivot is so critical, particularly these last few years. We have managed a global pandemic, an approaching demographic cliff of seniors applying to college, and many social and economic challenges. So some of you may ask, why am I still here? Indeed, I was asked that question by a new trustee on Friday at our lunch. And my answer is always the same, because I passionately believe in my core that the world needs Simmons. I didn't attend Simmons, but I believe in my core that the world needs Simmons. This Simmons Alumni Network is an amazing group of people. It's a diverse and interconnected community of passionate individuals like yourselves who are leading in their professions and communities. There are now more than 50,000 Simmons alums across the country and all over the world. And it is a testament to the power and impact of this institution. Today, I'm excited to share an overview of some of the key highlights and updates from the past year at Simmons. To start, many of you may know this, some of you may not. I want to congratulate the Simmons University softball team, which won its first GNAC championship in program history earlier this month and is currently competing in the finals. They won 2 games yesterday, so we're off to a good start. I mean, they lost the game before, but that's okay. We're still off to a good start. Over the past week, I've had the opportunity to spend time on campus for board meetings, faculty meetings, and commencement events. Those of you also visiting campus have probably noticed the many new and very exciting updates to our physical space. Under the leadership of Laura Brink-Pazinski, whom many of you may know from her days in advancement, we have now completed the first 2 phases of the One Simmons real estate project, which included the modernizing of the academic campus and the opening of a new state-of-the-art health sciences center and library facilities. The new science center, whose opening celebration, in fact, will be next Tuesday, features a 30-bed simulation center, world-class learning labs, and innovative technologies. It reflects the strategic direction of this institution and is providing new opportunities for student learning and advancement in the STEM and health professions. This is particularly important because, again, a fact many of you may not know, over 55% of our students are in the STEM and health professions today. We are set to begin the final phase of the One Simmons project, the construction of a new living and learning center on the academic campus later this year. These investments aren't just about building new buildings. These are critical to our ability to attract and retain students and to offer them the 21st century living and learning opportunities that they are seeking that will continue to make us competitive as we recruit against our peers. If over 55% of our students are in the STEM and health professions, to offer them a science facility, which we used to have, which wasn't as good as their high school science facilities, wasn't a way to compete with new students. We had to offer them something which was state of the art, and we did. It's extraordinary. We are the envy of many other colleges in the country. As many of you know, May 1st was National College Decision Day for high school seniors around the country. And I'm delighted to share that applications to Simmons increased by 10% this year. In the incoming class of 2027 is a diverse group of talented and passionate students. About 41% of the incoming class identifies as BIPOC, and 34% are first-generation college students. We look forward to welcoming them to campus this fall. At the same time, we are also working to enhance the experience for our current students. Our student affairs team, under the leadership of Renee Kirsch, has been thinking strategically and creatively about how Simmons can best create a supportive and inclusive environment that allows students to thrive. The team recently unveiled a new plan to integrate our student affairs and student success divisions. By combining the Student Advising and Career Center with academic support and accessibility services, we can better support our students while continuing to elevate community engagement, equity, and inclusion. As I think about our students and look around this Zoom room full of alums, I'm struck by the vital importance of the Simmons mission. This institution was founded for equality 125 years ago with the idea that women, through education, could achieve greater financial security and independence. John Simmons may not have used the words equity or inclusion to describe his purpose back then, but that is indeed what he was championing nearly 125 years ago. This vision of using education to advance social and economic equality is the core DNA of Simmons, and it remains at the heart of who we are today. A Simmons education offers a kind of learning that links passion with lifelong purpose, a resource for those who want to do well and to do good. And I am inspired by how you, our alums, continue to build on Simmons' history and legacy with your own chapters of service and excellence. You are leading as business leaders, community leaders, educators, entrepreneurs, activists, and so much more. And our communities are stronger because of you. As I said earlier, I passionately believe that the world needs Simmons and its legacy of advancing educational and social opportunities, a legacy that reaches across barriers and opens new doors for so many in our society. I am proud of the important role this institution plays, particularly in today's rapidly changing field of higher education. While there were once over 200 women's colleges across the country, in fact, over 300 at its peak, less than 30 remain today. Less than 30 remain today. Simmons is unique as the only institution in the city of Boston in its commitment to leadership, and the only such institution in the city of Boston and its commitment to leadership in the professions. We are also one of the few institutions that offers not only traditional undergraduate education, but online and campus-based graduate programs and an online education undergraduate program for adult learners, which we refer to as Complete Degree. Complete Degree graduated its first class at yesterday's commencement, and I'm so proud to share that 3 of these women were inducted into the Simmons Academic Honor Society. Our success is no small part due to the passion of the Simmons community, the power of our mission, and our resiliency. We are also incredibly fortunate to have the courageous leadership of President Wooten, who recently has been speaking about the concept of honest hope. Citing a quote from American researcher and author Frances Moore Lapay, who writes, "Honest hope has an edge. It's messy. It requires that we let go of all past answers, all preconceived formulas, all confidence that our sailing will be smooth. It's not a resting point. Honest hope is movement." This quote embodies so much of where Simmons and the entire field of higher education is at this moment in time. The ability of higher education institutions to not only survive, but to thrive far into the future requires this honest hope. Honest hope means that institutions must move forward. They must let go of past answers so that they can innovate, evolve, and adapt. This is especially critical for smaller, tuition-dependent institutions like Simmons. Our tuition dollars go to supporting 75% of our operations, which is one reason why philanthropy is so important to us. Imagine 75% of our operations. That's how dependent we are on tuition dollars. In this era of increasing competition for a shrinking pool of students, it's even more important that we focus on growth in our areas of distinction and seize future opportunities. The Simmons of the future must be laser focused on accelerating. I love that word. I want Simmons to be an accelerator. Accelerating student paths to meaningful careers and developing students with the leadership skills needed to create a more just world. While Simmons will evolve, our mission of educating leaders for their life's work and our commitment to equity and inclusion will remain at the core of everything we do. The world needs Simmons, and Simmons is built for now, for this critical moment in time. Despite progress, women have yet to achieve equal representation in spaces of influence. Women-centered institutions like ours play a vital role in addressing these social and economic inequities. So to conclude my remarks to you today, let me say once again, because you can't say it enough, the world needs Simmons. And Simmons also needs you. I hope you will continue to channel your passion. I use this word a lot, passion, because I know you're also passionate for this institution that we all love so much, by sharing the Simmons story and being its champion wherever you go. When people finally tell you that they're sick of hearing about Simmons, you'll know that they've just heard you for the first time. And also by helping us to reach out and welcome back other Simmons alums to re-engage with our future. We need to bring everybody back home. We need everybody today to get us to the future. Now, I wouldn't be a good chair if I didn't also invite you to consider making Simmons part of your philanthropic giving, which will not only support our students today, but also ensure that our institution has the resources it needs to thrive far into the future. As President Wooten says, honest hope is not a resting point. It is movement. Your leadership support in all of its many forms, as champions, as contributors, as active members of our community, will help us move forward and continue to innovate, evolve, and adapt. And why is this so important? Repeat after me. Because when Simmons leads, the world works better. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of your day.
Thank you so much, Regina. I am renewed and inspired because I too believe when Simmons leads, the world works better. And that, in fact, the whole 125 years is built for now.
Absolutely.
We are going to move on with our program by spotlighting our graduating classes, all of, I hope, who are convened here today. They are the classes that are ending in 3, and I introduce my co-president, Karen Young Thomas.
Karen, could you unmute yourself, please?
I can, even without the help of my grandchildren, who are my tech support. Regina, thank you so much for being with us and for sharing that encouragement and those reminders. Priya, are we ready with the, we're just going to really give a short visual shout out, and I want to also spotlight our Director of Alumni Outreach, Kelly O'Connell, who is with us today as well. But today we're celebrating 70 years of milestones of Simmons women who have graduated, leading us up to our newest alumni who are 24 Hours, the Alumni Association. So the first class is the class of 53, celebrating 70 years. And this was their microcosm and some snippets and photos from the class of 53. These will be on our website later on that you can go back and look for yourselves. And if you're with us from the class of 53, please shout us out in the chat. The class of 63, who is celebrating 60 years of graduation from Simmons, with color and black and white in the microcosm yearbook. The class of 73, who will be coming back this year for their 50-year reunion. Shout out to the class of 53, and please represent in the chat if you're with us today. The class of 83, that is with us and celebrating for 40 years. I see some hands going up for the class of 83. The class of 93, who is celebrating 30 years of Simmons alumniship. And in our class of 03, 20 years, shout out and recognize in our chat. And our goals, our graduates of the last decade, 10 years, the class of 2023, and all hail to our newest alumni, the class of 2023, who 24 hours ago graduated and are now Simmons alum. So shout out to all of you all, and we encourage you to continue to work as ambassadors for Simmons University. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I should, I see hands raised, and I'm certain those are raised for a shout out for your class, but just in case you are raising for a question or comment, please put them in the chat. Because we may have time to answer and to respond during the meeting, and if not, we'll do so afterwards. I'm now introducing our treasury, our treasurer, Barbara Campbell Harvey, class of 75, our assistant treasurer, Claire Pack, class of 16, who will introduce our first winner and honoree, I guess, of our Corporate Support Award. Barbara and Claire.
Thank you very much. We would like to extend our appreciation and gratitude to the Liberty Mutual Insurance Company for their continued support of women-centered education, and please let me introduce Dawn Fraser Bonhart.
Hello, everyone. I want to make sure everyone can hear me. I have yes, I think it's working. So thank you so much on behalf of Liberty Mutual. Thank you for this inaugural award. I am so proud that Liberty is a dedicated partner of Simmons University and the Simmons Leadership Institute and Conference. Your fierce commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging is so aligned, directly aligned with the work that Liberty has been doing every day since my small but mighty team came together to launch the Global Diversity and Equity Office 10 years ago. So from the very beginning, we have had a focus on improving the workplace for all people, and especially women, as we've acknowledged that we have some gaps to address. We focused on expanding our leadership development offerings, supporting the award-winning work of We at Liberty, which is our Women and Allies Employee Resource Group. And then together we focused on bringing benefit programs to our employees that address all aspects of a woman's life. I am so incredibly grateful for the continued support of my colleagues, senior leadership, who has seen the value that diversity, equity, inclusion can bring to our people and to our business. Since 2013, my team has grown and DEI has become an important and critical strategic imperative and has been embedded across our enterprise. But as you well know, we have more work to do. We are certainly not planting the flag. And as we look ahead to many of the headwinds coming directly at us, we know we have to stand firm and continue on this work. And that's why we have focused on a multi-year plan to increase and retain representation of women and people of color in leadership positions by 2025 and beyond, as well as to continue to ensure inclusion and belonging for all. As we remind everyone, we are multidimensional beings. We are more and many things beyond just one or two dimensions of diversity, and diversity is about all of us, and we need everyone in as part of this work. So we are proud to stand with Simmons, proud to stand with this women-centered university, continue to expand opportunities for women, to advance equity so that we all continue to make progress in the workplace and in all organizations. So again, I thank you so much for this award and for all the work that all of you do in service of women's success. Thank you.
Dawn, thank you so much. Beautiful remarks. Congratulations. It's now the section of our meeting where our directors will be able to give reports of their activities over the past year, some of which you have heard already in our year in review. But we begin with our treasurer's report. Karen, you can take it from there.
Thank you very much. This is Barbara Campbell Harvey, class of 75 talking. And the treasurer's report covers the period from July 1st, 2022 through May 15th, 2023. The fiscal year does not end until June 30th, 2023. The balance on hand at the beginning of the reporting period was $182,424.25. Our major source of income are the commission we receive when you purchase a Simmons insurance policy with Liberty Mutual. Another major source of income is the steady gain on our Vanguard investments. Our expenditures primarily went to support the awards, grants, and activities of the board. The balance on hand as of May 15th, 2023 is $152,539.75. We will activate our finance committee during the upcoming fiscal year. We are also in the process of closing our account at SVB Private and moving to TD Bank. This concludes the Treasury report, and it will be put on file. A PDF copy can be found in the chat room and at www.simmonsalumassociation.org. And back to you, Bobby.
Thank you, Barbara, for that report, and to you and Claire for the work that you are doing in our finance area. I'm going to call on each of our directors independently and ask them to introduce themselves, and perhaps in the interest of time, choose one activity from the year and give us a 1-minute shout out on that activity. And so the first one I'm going to call is Maddie Gretzky, who is our Director of Student Outreach.
So Maddie Gretzky had to leave early, but I can provide a quick update on her behalf. So Maddie is our Director of Student Outreach, as Karen said, and she's a graduate of class of 2016. One of the big events that Maddie worked on this year is she helped plan a 50 days to graduation event for the senior class. You must have seen a little bit of pictures and highlights in our introduction video about that event. It was a great success. We had a lot of graduating seniors attend it. And now going ahead, she plans to work with a new director in the advancement office to plan upcoming events for the year, and also plan a welcome gift for our incoming freshman class. Thank you.
Thank you. All of these reports will be published on our website following this board meeting. I'm going to ask that our outgoing DEI director, Gina Patterson, give us a highlight from an activity from this year.
Thank you, Karen. I just wanted to highlight the DEI committee's formal partnership with the 4As and the Black Alumni Symposium, now the Betty Rollins Symposium that just occurred a couple of weeks ago on campus. And as Bobby had mentioned, the gospel brunch that we helped sponsor, which was a beautiful, amazing event for Black alums, for Black alums and faculty and staff and actual current students here on the Simmons campus. So really grateful for our partnership and our continued partnership with the 4As. And I just wanted to highlight that as the great work that we've been doing all year round.
Thank you, Gina. And also, as you are moving on from your position on the board, thank you so much for your service over all of these years. I'm going to ask that Kelly O'Connell give us a highlight of one of the activities from Alumni Outreach this year. If you're still on and able. Okay, I thought I saw her come on earlier. So we're going to move on to Elaine, who is our Director of Nominations and Volunteers, and she's going to highlight our new slate of officers that are coming in and some changes that we've made this year.
Right. Thank you. And thanks to Chris Pope Campbell for helping me network for these open slate positions. Raise your hand if you're present, Chris. As Bobby Thompson rotates out of the co-president position, we have a resolution later on in the resolution section to return to the former model of president and vice president. The new slate of AAEB directors consists of women who have stellar experience, talent, and a commitment to and a love for Simmons. You will be able to read about each of them on their personal profiles as soon as the updated site, the alum site, is ready. The proposed slate of officers will be voted in during the resolution section of this meeting. I now present the slate of Alum Association Executive Board Directors. Please raise your hand when named if you are in attendance. Karen Thomas, 77, President. Vice President, Jill Schumann, 76. Co-Director of Communications Marketing Segment, Janine Coveney, 81. Co-Director Communications Media, Jody Drexler, 88. Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Pam Moran Deschelle, 75. Director of Awards, Cassandra Ramirez, 99. Director of Student Outreach, Courtney Bryant, 94. Director of Alumni Outreach, Kelly O'Connell, 99. Director of Athletics, Jasmine Clark, 15. Alumni Association Historian, Maddie Gretzky, 16. Thank you. I now pass back to Priyal. Or Karen.
So thank you for each of those reports, each of our directors. And I'm going to first just say that it has been my honor and pleasure to serve with Bobby Thompson this year, who for personal reasons is moving on to her next chapter as a Simmons woman. You know, life never stops for us and there's always that next thing. And so it has really been an honor, and I just thank her for all the work that she has done on behalf of Simmons, on behalf of making me grow, and of just saying, we can do this, let's just do it. So thank you, Bobby. And now I'd like to ask Priyal to give us our report on operations and then move us into our resolutions.
Thank you, Karen. So my name is Priyal. I'm a graduate of class of 2014, and I've been serving as the Director of Operations since 2022. One of the biggest highlights for me this year was I created an onboarding plan for our upcoming new officers. So every time a new officer joins the Alumni Association Board, we now have a structured plan in place that would help them onboard in a smooth manner, which would give them access to our old repository. It would give them access to documents and emails that the outgoing officer had while they worked on different projects with the university, with students, and with other organizations. So that's been my biggest highlight that I wanted to point out. And moving on to the resolution. So this is one of our board business that we pass resolutions as part of our board meeting. So I'm going to share my screen so that everyone else can read them. Okay. And just to note, these resolutions will only be voted upon by the Alumni Association Executive Board members. So if you can see my screen, I would like to go over resolution number 1. So a motion has already been set in place for this resolution, but resolution 1523, the AAEB approves the titles of the president and vice president. May I ask all those in favor? Any opposed? If any opposed from the board members, could you please unmute and speak up? Any abstentions on this motion?
Karen Thomas, abstain.
Okay. Motion number 2, 2523, the AAEB approves the slate of officers as presented by the nominations committee. The AAEB president, Karen Thomas, vice president, Jill Schumann. Looks like my list is not updated from what Elaine has submitted. So I'm going to take a second here and read the list from the new slate. The AAEB president, Karen Thomas, AAEB vice president, Jill Schumann, director of marketing, Janine Coveney, co-director of communications and media, Jody Drexler, director of diversity, equity, and inclusion, Pam Moran Deschelle, director of awards, Cassandra Ramirez, director of student outreach, Courtney Bryant, director of alumni outreach, Kelly O'Connell, director of athletics, Jasmine Clark, and alumni association historian, Maddie Gretzky. All those in favor? Any opposed? Please unmute yourself if you have any opposition. Any abstain?
Karen Thomas, abstain.
Thank you. And then the last resolution, 3523, I'd like to set a motion for the AAEB to adopt the minutes of the 2022 annual meeting minutes. This should be 2022. That's a clerical error. Apologize. With the necessary corrections or additions. These minutes were already approved, were already available on the Simmons Association website for public review. Anyone like to set a motion, please?
I so move.
Thank you. Bobby, any second from the board?
This is Barbara and I second.
Thank you, Barbara. Those in favor? Any opposed? Please unmute yourself if you oppose. Any abstentions? The minutes have been approved. Thank you very much. Karen, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Thank you, Priyal, and thank you for us being able to conduct this business. All of this information will be available on our website immediately following the this meeting. And so welcome and thank you to all of our new officers and directors. And thank you so much for all of our outgoing directors and for the foundations that you've set, Lynn, Teresa, now Bobby, Gina, and so forth. And so just to give you a really quick preview of some of the things that we're planning over the next 2 years. Priyal, if you could just bring up that slide. And thank you. And so we will be looking, so we have a lot of work to do. All right. And we are Simmons Women Strong. We know we can get this done. So some of our traditional activities that will include things like student activities yet to be planned, are another hybrid meeting for homecoming on October 14th. Next year on May 18th, our annual meeting, committee activities that will move forward, and this once in a lifetime opportunity to engage in celebrating 125th anniversary of Simmons College University, and reflecting on what Regina said about the number of surviving and now thriving women-centered colleges. It's really cause to celebrate. And so we invite all of you to be a part of what we're hoping will be 125th all-class reunion over the next 2 years, a panel of women's college presidents hosted by our own President Wooten that will talk about the state of our institutions in this environment. Our entrepreneurial pitch event that is being spearheaded by our Kelly O'Connell, and some new initiatives that will look at how we can seed alumni endowed scholarships, looking at our alumni benefits package, a student government sponsored package that they have come to us with and that we are looking for, creating a 2-year pilot program, extending our alumni history archives and really solidifying the stories that need to be archived and told about our alumni. The resurrection of a travel club and events that connect our international Simmons alumni. Continuing our paid internship in collaboration with the Eiffel College, bringing tea back to all of our Simmons alum, and supporting other university activities that we will begin to plan over the next year. And with that said, I would like to introduce probably the most quoted woman of this meeting, our leader, President Lynn Wooten. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Good afternoon to all of our Simmons alum. It is an honor to be in your presence. It's a rainy day in Boston. It's also a busy day and a busy week in Boston. As you heard from our board chair, our softball team is winning the championship for GNACS, and now they're in the next round for Division III. We had a robust graduation where I did 1,200 fist bumps, 400 approximately in undergrad and 800 of grad students. And so it was just a wonderful experience. And even in Boston, for those of you who have young kids or grandkids, it's a big weekend because Taylor Swift is here. So it's crazy. We have the Celtics going on, but it is so happy to see you. I first want to express gratitude. I want a gratitude for Bobby Thompson for co-leading and co-president with Karen. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for caring for Simmons, hosting me in California, your vision. And I know that even though you are stepping down as co-president, you will always be here for us. So thank you, Bobby, as you go on to your next slide. Karen, thank you for stepping up and always being by my side and leading and being what our board chair said in our tagline, when Simmons leads, the world works better. And you exemplify that. And you've done that since day one I've started. And the other 8 new directors and vice presidents, thank you for your service. I just want to reiterate a couple things. You heard me say. One is that we need our alum. And this year, our focus is on getting our alum back. We have a low alumni engagement rate, and we want to increase that rate. So any friends, class, teammates, dorm mates, sorority sisters, club members, we will be calling on you. This will be our rallying cry to engage alum. Because as President Thomas said, we want all women's colleges to thrive, but we especially want Simmons to thrive. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is because our alum support us. And so please, the rallying cry for our alum are so important. The other thing I want to emphasize is that as we're talking to people over and over again, we need your ties and your testimonies, bringing people in, corporate sponsors, foundations, other people who care about women's colleges are so important. So thank you for all you do. 125 years of living the Simmons mission, and we're looking just forward to a big celebration.
Thank you, President Wooten. And now, Priya, I think we are trying to give away a luxury package to a spa because we work so hard. We must replenish and take care of ourselves. So, Priya?
Yes, that's right. So the way we're going to do it is we took everyone's names who had registered for this meeting and put it in a spin the wheel. I'm going to share my screen and spin the wheel in front of everyone, and hoping the person who's wins is in attendance. If the person is not in attendance, we're going to spin the wheel again until who's attending the meeting and gets this lovely $250 spa gift card in their local town. I'm going to share my screen.
I can't stand the excitement.
Hopefully, can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Nope. Yes, coming up.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to do it again. Okay. Can you see it now?
Not yet, Priya.
Technology is so great when it's great.
Yes. You should see it now.
We see it now with
All
many
right.
names.
Okay, I'm going to spin it now.
Go for it.
And our winner is Caitlin Sullivan on the call?
I think we need to give it one more spin.
All right.
Going once, going twice.
Is Julie Farnham on the call? I'm going to try this one again.
So Priya, interestingly, because of the internet connection, we're not seeing it spin crazily the way you are.
Oh, I see. Okay. I promise it's spinning. Is Sarah Whalen on the call?
We did not have a plan B for this.
Oh, good. So let's do one more spin and then
Yep.
we'll just draw from a hat from the,
Is Amanda, I think that's supposed to be Houston, Hamilton on the call?
okay, so we will post the meeting, go through all of those who actually logged in, put your
Yep.
names in a hat, pull it out the old fashioned way, old school raffle style. And then we will make the announcement on our website and we will get back to you. I want to just close our meeting by again, thanking all of you all for participating and for taking this hour to be a part of our meeting. I want to remind you that on the 13th of June at 4 p.m. that there will be, we'll have another T podcast, so please register to do that. The focus will be art. And we will be talking with one of our alums, Jane Weston, who has sponsored a program there at Simmons. So again, thank you, Regina. Thank you, President Wooten. Thank you to all of our directors. Congratulations to our new directors and our ambassador alums. Thank you all for all that you have done and all that you will continue to do. Thank you and have a great rest of the weekend. Go Simmons!
Go Sharks.
Thank you.
Thanks for a great meeting, everybody, and thank you for coming this morning.
Great meeting.
Accelerators.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next week.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Karen.
Bye,
everyone.
Good meeting,
Thanks,
Karen.
Bobby.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Great meeting.
thanks,
all.
Karen. Go Sharks. Bye.
Take it easy.